Well, I got the old nasty rack off the junk one, cleaned it up a little bit, pulled it off with the hoses, and then I'll put a good set of hoses on there because that hose was busted on the end. So, and I got the deck lid on the shop car, got it lined up, body lines are nice and smooth, relatively pretty damn close. Because there ain't much adjustment on these. I mean literally 1/16 of an inch. Because it's actually pretty tight. And I've got the striker bolt literally raised all the way up. But it's black and it closes. Next I'll probably put the rack in the morning. I don't know if I'll do that tonight. It's just so muggy. It's not hot out right now. It's only probably 90, but it's 7:30, and it's just, I mean, it feels like 100% humidity out here. And I'll have to get that rack in there so I can finish getting this front end buttoned up, get these other parts put on, get my brake caliper on, get my brakes bled. And then what I'll do is, before I get it roadworthy, I'll take it down and get the brake rotors turned because they're getting pretty grungy, just laying around. And I got new tie rod ends. I need to get an interference pad for my 6-inch DA that is a glue, a sticky pad one, not a hook and loop like that. This thing's just too hard. That's my little hand sander. It's flexible. But yeah, I need an interference pad. It'd make sanding a whole lot easier because there ain't a straight body panel on this car. I guess I could take that Palin 08 sticker off. But there you go. That's all for today. I'll start working on them wheels maybe this week, get them stripped and sanded, and I don't know if I'm going to paint them silver or black to match the car. I may just paint them black. Just everything black on this car. Get the windows tainted black. You know, the door glass, the side glass, the back glass. Just everything black, black wheels. And just have an absolute black car. And I'm going to debadge it, by the way. I don't know if I'll get rid of the VW badge. If that's indented into the trunk, I won't. But them are stick-ons, I bet. So I'll just peel those off and I'll just debadge it. And then make it look a little cleaner. There you go. That's about all for today. Yeah, I got up this morning, Saturday morning, you know, to go ahead and get the doors and fenders off of that thing. Now my lens is fogging up again. And that's what I woke up to. Alright, this is Saturday morning. It was raining when I got up, so I couldn't take any body parts off of the other black one. So what I went and did is strip the driver's side down so I could replace all the suspension. I went ahead and cleaned up the apron, inner fender, whatever you want to call it. Sprayed it down with some old cheap undercoating. And that's the hole where the rack goes. It's a whole lot bigger with everything out. So, I mean, the strut literally goes right in here. What I'm going to do is, while I got everything out, I'm going to go ahead and slip the rack in real quick and make the job a whole lot easier. This is that lower control arm bolt I was telling you about that you have to pull out because it hits, as you're pulling it out, it hits the floorboard halfway out. So what I do is I just whack it in half real quick with the torque and pull the rest of it out. Easier than beating the shit out of the floorboard. I got the rack in the hole. See how I got it pulled away and just sitting here. And what I did is I lifted this up and propped the brake pad up underneath it so that I could get those two banjo bolts underneath to get those lines on. Now you got to put this coiled up high side line on first because you see how this low side line kind of loops through it. I've heard a lot of people on the forums, they really have a bitch of a time because they put the low side line on first They can't figure out how the high side line goes back. Okay, when you're putting this rack in, this rubber boot is a real pain in the ass when you got all the suspension here. Grab that rubber boot and just pull it out of there. Okay, it's just pushed in a hole like a rubber grommet. Then when you go to put it back in, you'll see how shiny it is. Spray it down with WD-40, go inside the car, literally right there, slide that yoke up out of your way, and push that thing back through. It only goes in one way. There's a little tab over here on this side that fits in a little, like a little fork into a hole. You push that thing in and there's a lip around that body that thing just kind of holds it in place. And then you can spray the inside of that hole with the WD-40 and just poke the rack right up in there. It'll poke, I'm telling you, just slips right up in there. And actually probably in another 15 minutes this thing will be all bolted up, because it's really just about that easy after you get this far. You know, I degreased it really good. I had to heat this one up to get it out, so I steered it all the way this way, took the boot off, pushed it all the way back, and jammed 3 screwdrivers under this boot to keep it off of the metal, and then held it back with a zip tie, heated just this up till it got it just enough to get that tie rod out, and then threw a rag on it real quick to cool it off so I wouldn't burn the grease out of the inner tie rod. It's still nice and snug. You see it sits there by itself. Usually when you move these and they just drop, they're bad, okay? If you can move them around and they stay, they're generally tight and they won't rattle. And that rattle you hear is when you hit a bump, you'll feel the steering wheel like knockety-knockety-knock. That's inner tie rod ends more than likely. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this down and finish stuffing it in. Wow, it's cooled off a little bit. Amazing. All right, finished up this side. Got tie rods in, ends on, the rack in, the axle in. I even got the little heat shield on, brake rotor, the caliper. There's no fluid in it, there's no brake shoes on it, because I have to turn these rotors. So there's no sense in just throwing them old raggedy ass shoes on there. Got this side all done. And the steering wheel hooked up. The steering wheel is probably the hardest thing to do on this damn car. I mean, you've really got to twist and contort yourself up under the dash, and it has to go on one certain way. I mean, it only goes on one way, but it's a certain direction. Everything has to be pointing for the U-joints to slip on. But the only thing I got to do really is the ABS sensor on this hub is a 2-wire. Okay, and as you can see, that's a 1-wire, so I have to get my other ABS sensor. It's in my box somewhere. You can see I've been digging through all my bolts. I mean, I've got boxes and boxes and boxes. That tote's totally full. I mean, there's shit just piled everywhere. This whole side of the building is just piled with parts. That was my whole goal on this car, was to build this car with just spare parts. But that didn't work out. The front suspension on the other one was so bad I wasn't going to use it. So I moved this thing around much more. This converter's going to fall out. There we go. And that wasn't the case. So I had to buy, you know, front end parts. I had to buy a set of brake shoes for the front, turn the 4 rotors. You know, other than that, I have everything else pretty much. You know, I got the paint. I'm gonna have to buy a gallon of clear, I think. Other than that, I'm gonna get some wheels on it. Well, there it is. It's on wheels. My 3-legged Passat is now 4-legged again. I don't know if I can. Oh yeah. Mashes up and down. It's getting there. Now I gotta clean the garage up again. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow. I'll push it outside and get the garage all cleaned back up. Get it inside and start putting doors and all the other stuff on it. That's about all I can do. I got this trunk lid fitting better today. I had to do some more adjusting on it. Shuts a whole lot better now. It just needed the latch tweaked. That's about all. Ooh, that's wobbly there. Well, when I shut the camera off, I made one last quick check, and I made a monumental error when putting the car back together. It's in the video. See if anybody can catch it. It took me an hour to fix it. Literally, that's all it was just an hour, you know, to do everything I needed to fix the problem or the mistake I'd made. You know, you just get in a hurry. You don't, you know, but the trick is not, you know, it's not the mistake, it's recognizing the problem and fixing it. You know, when I used to teach, I used to tell everybody, you can make all the mistakes you want as long as you can recover from it. Because the recovery is what shows me that you know what you're doing. If you make a mistake, you know exactly what you did, and then you correct it. You know, people that do things perfect every time don't learn from mistakes. They're just, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, y'all know what you know what I mean. You know, people that do things right so long, they don't learn from their mistakes. You know, like you know, you see people doing videos and they put stuff together and what the hell, this thing don't work. You know, and they don't know what to do to fix it. But anyways, that's it. I'm done for today. I'm actually literally sitting here soaking wet. The temperature's probably dropped about 10 degrees since this morning. It was probably 100, 102, and it's probably 92. But you know, my building's all metal, brick, and concrete, so it's absorbed all that heat. It won't cool off until, you know, 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and it's, you know, it's 6:30 now. So, you know, I've been at it, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours today, pretty hard. But like I said, it's on the ground. It's a roller now. The only thing, it don't have any brakes because I got to you know, get some brake rotors turned, get new brake pads, and get that right caliper bled. Other than that, it's a matter of bolting it back together, sticking everything on it. A lot of work. I'm probably going to be working at it another 2-3 weeks yet. You know, as much as I can. I'll probably be so sore later I won't even be able to get out of bed. So, alright.